Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, this video is all back at another card fight Vanguard deck performance. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to Patreon. And let's get one started, shall we? Today we have Aqua Force, Maelstrom, Reverse Dato. Yes, I will still say it that way, regardless if people hate it or not. Apparently no one has said anything about it yet, so that's good. Anyways, Aqua Force, Maelstrom, okay, I'm gonna be honest with all of you. For some reason, every card that's come out of this collection set, maybe it's just the way I've built with them, but a lot of the reverse units specifically have seemed to degrade a lot of my skills with the decks. I don't know why. Like, I remember when I shoved Grandazzle in, God, I don't know what happened there. I didn't change any numbers, I just changed what the cards were. The deck's consistency went way down. I have no idea what happened there. Maelstrom did the same exact thing. Except I somewhat actually did change the numbers this time. So, it's a weird deck, but at the same time, God, this deck hits numbers, and I did the really funny play where I summoned like 6 Maelstroms to the board at once. Yeah, in the game, or like in the physical game. Not that scary, but if we're talking anime / imagination-wise, Jesus Christ, 6 giant dragons with guns staring you down. Yeah, that's not gonna give you nightmares. Let's go ahead and get this deck profile started, shall we? First up, we have our starter in Blow Bubble Draco Kid. Grade 0, boost, 10k shield, 6k base, auto when erode upon, draw a card. Then if your opponent's Vanguard's greater when get it, you get a quick shield ticket to your hand. Standard starter, not too special about it, you get a draw, you get a quick shield. The reason why it's our starter is because we don't really have a better choice for a starter, but I at least wanted it to make a dragon because, we got all our grade 3s are big dragon boys, so might as well make the starter a dragon too. So Blue Bubble Draco Kid got the one for that point. Trigger-wise, we run 2 draw triggers in Proxy and Communication Sea Otter. That's not our only draw trigger, it's just the draw trigger that is normal. We have 2 normal front triggers in Dolphin, Soldiers of High-Speed Raids, because I like this Dolphin, and everyone who has ever played against me in Aqua Force hates this Dolphin. I don't know why. And then we have 4 copies of Enemy Seeking Seagull Soldier and 4 Draw PG and Emerald Shield Pascal, grade 0 boost, 0 shield, 5k base, draw trigger, 2 summon 4 summons in your deck, and auto guard circle. When placed, discard a card from your hand, and one of these cannot be turned to battle. So, and then we also have our normal heal and activate Draco Kid. If you want an actual description of why I'm not running the Heal Guardian, go to a video from like 4 weeks ago and you'll probably get a better description because I hate Heal Guardians and the most you are going to get out of this description is they are detrimental to my playstyle. So, yes, I run 6 crits, 6 fronts, 6 draws, 4 heals because, this deck sometimes wants hand cards. It's nice to have the hand cards when this deck is occasionally the time where I will draw 6 grade 3s into my hand and I have no say in the matter. And what I mean by that is the amount of both searching and just regular draws that I get into Maelstroms, you would not believe how often my hand gets cluttered with grade 3s of Maelstroms when there's only 10. Normally by first grade 3 turn, I've gone through at least 6 of them. So yeah, and then the front triggers are here to help with the numbers that can't hit. So yeah. And then we have our grade 1s. 3 copies of Radiant Assault, grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 8k base, auto rear when placed, soul boss 1 until end of turn. Your when attack hits effects act for this battle that it attacked or boosted activate even if the attack did not hit. And then you may put a Maelstrom card from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck and draw a card. So, the whole point of Maelstrom is, let me get away from that. Glory has nothing to say towards this because Glory has no on hit or on guard abilities whatsoever. Reverse goes completely against the entirety of Maelstrom support, and the old Maelstrom, the one you're going to sit on for first grade 3 turn, unless it's not in your hand, is the one where you want your attacks to be able to hit. And, the thing with that is there's only 2 battles that Maelstrom would ever go off of, so you could just take the first 2 swings and then just guard the next 2, and then boom, it wouldn't be able to restand. But now with Radiant Assault, or from before when they got this card, and just other support cards that allowed them to activate on hit abilities from before, it makes the deck a lot more consistent. First grade 3 turn is very dangerous now, or not very dangerous, actually it could be very dangerous if you shoved a bunch of crits in here. And, it's a way to net a Maelstrom back to deck if they're somehow ended up in drop zone, and you get a draw out of it. Downside is he's an odd place, but otherwise he'd be a bit too good, and the Soul Blast one is a really good cost for this deck when you don't really Soul Blast too much. So 3 copies of Radiant. 4 copies of Analyze Shooter, the only other Soul Blaster in this deck to my memory, and the other thing that competes with this, but in all honesty, both of them are really good grade 1s. Grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 6k base unfortunately, so if you have to ride this, It's not the end of the world, but you are going to get rushed. Auto rear, when the attack it boosted hits a Vanguard. Soul Blast 1 and discard 1. Search your deck for up to a total of 2 cards of Maelstrom and their different card names. Reveal them, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. He is the other reason why I see half of my 6 of my 10 Maelstroms before first grade 3 turn. Because I always draw him in the early game, and normally by then I only have 1 or 2 Maelstroms, and that's normally not good enough for me, so I want to call Analyze Shooter so I can get my, other 2 Maelstroms into my hand, so I normally want to have all 3 in my hand. And Analyze Shooter, after he goes for, okay, Soul Blast 1, discard 1, for some reason I don't discard a Maelstrom, and I search my deck for 2 more Maelstroms, boom, suddenly I have 4, and for some reason every time I boost with him I always draft check a Maelstrom. So yeah, 5 of my 10 Maelstroms typically come out of my deck by the time I get to grade 3 because of this thing. It's really good, it just makes my hand cluttered with big giant dragons. Now if they gave us a card that was like Die Liner and gave Zed Dragon Shields, okay, yes, this thing would be inevitably broken, but this deck gets scarily overrun with grade 3s. It's like Bastion, but has more attacks. 4 copies of Analyze Shooter. Its base power is fine, but it also nets you 2 searches for bullshit cost. So 4 of. 4 copies of Bubble Ball Corporal. Grade 1 boost, 10k shield, 8k base, our last grade 1. Auto van or rear, when the attack or the attack it boosted hits a Vanguard. Look at top 7, reveal to one card with Maelstrom its card name, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So, it either boosts or it attacks. If it hits, you get a top 7 search for a Maelstrom. And the best part is, things like Radiant Assault, it doesn't say the Vanguard's abilities on attack works only. It's also everything else that has an on-hit ability, which means you can boost that with Corporal after using Radiant Assault's skill, and while you're on a Maelstrom for the 3rd battle, even if they guard it, Maelstrom will restand, and this will get you a top 7 search. Yeah, Corporal's really good. Is an amazing card that gets you more Maelstrom searches, because, you don't already have enough searches here, and then you also can combo with this thing, and it makes for a really good grade 1, so 4 of. It also does really well in the early game, where if you're grade locked at grade 3, you can just call a bunch of these. Yeah, this is the deck where if you're grade locked at grade 3, you don't have to worry. You can mulligan your entire hand, and as long as you get this, and a grade 2 in your hand, you will probably be fine. So yeah, 4 of Corporal. Then grade 2s. 4 copies of Coral Assault. Grade 2, Intercept, 5k shield, 9k base. Continuous rear guard. During the battle of the attack, if you have 4 more other rested units, it gets plus 15. This is the easiest 24k swing on a card, and if you put it on Excel, you get 29k swing. That's really good. And then auto rear guard circle at the end of your turn. If you swung 4 more times this turn, shove it to soul, draw a card. Good news is he doesn't have to swing for that to go off, so as long as you can hit those 4 attacks, you get that free soul and a draw. But that's really good. If you ever get to the point where you're running low on soul, because maybe you've been spamming these two like there's no tomorrow, he gets you a soul to replace that fat man. He does get you a draw to replace him. So basically, this is what Inlet Post Dragon was before. Except, actually, no, they literally stole this skill straight from Inlet Post Dragon from Flagberg. So yeah, 4 copies of Coral Assault, because he can hit a number, and when you combine it with Glory, this thing is really good. So 4 of. And then 4 copies of Jewel Staff of Emerald Epilda, grade 2 Intercept, 5k shield, 9k base. Basically does the same thing as this thing, but to go over its skill. Continuous rear guard circle. If your Vanguard is a Maelstrom, it gets plus 5 and 5k power and 5k shield. So regardless of where it's on the board, as long as it's on rear or guard circle, if your Vanguard is a grade 3, most likely. I mean, they are just saying Maelstrom, so if they ever made it a grade 2, we could do it. This thing becomes a 14k base and a 10k shield. Cool. And auto rear or van, when it attacks, counter blast 1 until end of battle. When when attack hits, activates even if the attack did not hit. So once more, boost this with Corporal. You get that on hit. You can combine it with Maelstrom, get the on hit. Yeah, this is basically Radiant Assault, but for counterblast, and only Glory and this Glory and Reverse are the only ones that use counterblast. So, out of this entire deck, there are 3 cards that use Counterblast, 2 cards that use Soul Blast, and everything else only uses discard fodder. But even then, those 2 cards that use discard fodder are only this thing and Maelstrom itself. So, yeah, we don't really have a lot of high-paying cost cards. Either way, Epida's really good. If you don't have Radiant Assault, it's a good replacement option to get the on-hit abilities off for early Maelstrom turns. And, can also add for power and defensives when you need them, when you're constantly discarding hand cards to cult a board. So, 4 of Epilda, because she's really good. And honestly, probably the bane of the existence of everyone who's ever seen me play Maelstrom. Then our last grade 2 is 4 copies of Drifting Flow Fencer. Grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 9k base is the preferable grade 2 ride target, but it's not the worst thing in the world to ride this. Auto Van Rear, when placed, look at top 7, reel to 1 Maelstrom is card name from one of them, put it to hand and shuffle your deck. With all the Maelstrom card names, just Maelstrom, they better make a grade 2 or a grade 1 that just happens to have it in its card name, even if it does nothing for the archetype, just so there's a reason for that to be worded the way it is. And Auto Rear, when it attacks, if it's the 4th battle this turn or more, if you have a Vanguard with Maelstrom as card name, this gets plus 15. So, simply put, swing for 4th battle, which is very easy to do in an Excel deck considering you get 1 gift and you immediately can swing for 4th battle. Boy goes to 24, and it combos with Old Maelstrom to hit for the 4th battle, and not to mention, by being placed, you get a free search for a Maelstrom and you don't have to discard for it. Yeah, Flow Fencer's really good, 4 of. I don't remember what set they got support in, but I greatly question Bushy. Why did they give Maelstrom so many good cards? I remember it was so bullshit playing it. 4 of, because this thing gets you a free search in 15. Grade 3's time. Yes, I do not run 4 of the reverse, but let's all be fair here. We don't need 4 of it when this nets us a free search just by being placed. This nets us a free search just by either hitting its attack or hitting its boost, which this and or this can enable. This can literally just search 2 of them by boosting a hit, which can also be comboed with this and or this. Even though that's only 4 cards, even though that's only 3 cards, that's still a good 3 cards. So, yeah, we don't really need more than 3 of them, but Blue Storm, Karma Dragon, Maelstrom, Reverse Dato. I really love this thing's art. It looks really cool. Auto Van, at the end of the battle that your rear guard attacked, if the attack did not hit, yep, so it's going against the entirety of the deck now. So lock a standing rear guard. Yeah, this is why I called 3 Maelstroms to the back row. It is partially because I had no choice, but that was just to get 3 standing rear guards locked. And this unit gets plus 10 for the turn. And then if you have a card with Maelstrom as card name in your soul, choose an opponent's rear guard, kill it. Okay, it's not the end of the road to write this first because you can just use it to get plus 10, but I do prefer to write the old Maelstrom first because it's the one that doesn't require a Maelstrom in soul. It still gets you a restand. It can provide setup for either glory or provide setup for this thing to where every time you attack fails to hit, you murder a rear guard. And then Auto Van, when this unit attacks, if it is the 4th battle that turn or more, counterblast 1, and this unit gets a crit and a drive for the turn. And at the end of the battle, if the attack did not hit, for each of your locked cards, your opponent chooses a card from their hand or rear guard and puts it into drop. So, you know, typically, by the time I ride this, I'm going to have 2 Excel markers, but, you know, I'm only ever going to lock my back row. So that's about 3 cards each, and then this is most likely going to get PG'd. So 5 cards stop this, and they're at 5 damage. God, that is so many hand cards that they're about to lose and or rear guards. Except the thing with Karma, though, is it says for the turn, and that's not a once per turn ability. Are they implying... I don't know if... I don't think Premium has a way to restand the Vanguard without the Vanguard skill going off. If they do, then so be it. But are they implying that the next collection set is going to have an ability to stand this? Because it gets the drive and crit for the turn, and it's not a once per turn. So I'm assuming they're going to have a way to restand it for some bullshit cost, but still a way to restand it. So I'm going to give Karma a 3. Oh my god, I just thought about what Glendios could do. Oh, I have such a good idea. I'm not going to say it, but I swear... I'm going to do it in another video where I have a detailed idea of it, but I just had a really good idea of what Glendios might do if they make a Glendios. But yeah, Karma's decently good. You know, you lock a back row, plus 30 to Vanguard, possibly nuke a rear guard, swings for extra crit and triple drive with like a 42k swing, definitely a PG, and probably going to drop 3 of their cards, and you can do all of that, or sorry, you can do the second half while they're not at grade 3. So, you know, all around the Karma's really good. I do give it a 3 of because this card, you know, nukes a board, possibly nukes a hand, gets extra crits and extra drives to refill your hand, and can get a fuck ton of power out of it. So yeah, 3 of. 3 of Blue Storm Supreme Dragon, Glory Maelstrom. Same reason why it's at 3 is same reason as Karma. We have enough searches, we don't need more than 3. Honestly, I'd be willing to tech them down to 2 and add more garters, but I don't really think I need to. Grade 3, Twin Drive, Excel Gift, 12k base. Act, Vanguard, once per turn, counterblast 1 until end of turn. Your opponent cannot intercept, and they can only call to 1 card from their hand to guard circle for each battle. And if your soul has a card of Maelstrom as card name, all your farmer units get plus 10. So, for the cost of a singular counterblast, which you are going to have a lot of, unless you're just constantly sitting on this and you are constantly spamming the shit out of that, this will net you guaranteed no intercepts, and 1 card for each of the battles this turn, which means that they're at 5 damage. Assuming that you haven't rode a Maelstrom before, granted that's only going to be 4 cards from hand, but that's still, when you have enough power, that's going to be very dangerous. But then if you did ride before this, you have at least 5 attacks, and you probably have a Maelstrom and Soul, so plus 10, so that's a bunch of triggers that they're going to have to throw down, and if you can hit over a certain number, yeah, this deck will hit a lot of things. Like, there are a lot of decks that can get extra guard shield for their cards, but a lot of them wouldn't be able to hit over this, and because it nullifies intercept for the turn, yeah, this thing's deadly. 3 copies of Glory, because despite the fact it only has 1 skill, I argue that this skill is 10 times more useful than this. I mean, they're both good in their own right. I'd say this is more of a setupper, and this is more of a finisher, but all around, Glory's still pretty good. Gets you power, nullifies guards, I guess, to some extent. Or, let's be more fair, restricts guards, and if they're at 5 damage, they're going to hate you if they survive. 3 copies of Glory. And our last card in the deck is 4 copies of our main Grade 3, or set up Grade 3. Blue Storm Dragon, Maelstrom, Grade 3, Twin Drive, Excel Gift, 12k base. If you're wondering why this is at 4 and not at 3 like the other ones, is because, the other 2 require Maelstroms and Soul. I'm going to at least run the one at 4 that doesn't require a Maelstrom and Soul for its effects to go off. Act Vanguard once per turn, counterblast 1, and all your front units get plus 3 to the turn. So, that's actually really good. Any unit that has power but might not be able to hit an Excel deck, not an Excel deck, a Forest deck, cool, most of them can probably hit now, and it just, even if it's barely a number, it still makes it cards that they have to throw down guarding for, an auto van once per turn. When your rear guard's attack hits a vanguard, if it is the 3rd or 4th battle that turn, discard 2 and stand this unit without losing drives. Yeah, if you can't tell, that's the reason why Maelstrom was, that's the reason why it's a specific 3rd or 4th battle back when it was released, because otherwise you could use this when they're at Grade 2, and this was the first Aqua Force main Grade 3 to be revealed, minus Naval Gazer. So yeah, obviously Maelstrom has some threat behind it, but then it wasn't that bad, because 3rd or 4th battle, really easy to defend against. Yeah, and then they released this and this together, and suddenly that's no longer an issue. So, good first Grade 3 turn ride, very dangerous. You're getting some Vanguard restands out of it. They're going to have to try to outlast you. Granted, unless you see draw triggers, you're just getting a drive check, but they're having to guard slightly more than they should, and it's going to be a bit terrifying next turn. They got to stare down probably another big dragon that's either going to be this or this, and it's really fun when you do what I did in the game and ride all 3 of them in rapid succession, because it's really funny getting 3 separate big boy dragon thingies on the Vanguard circle at once. So yeah, and we run it at 4 because it's really good. And then our gifts. 5 XL1s, 5 XL2s, because if somehow it gets past 5, you're probably not playing the deck right, or your opponent's about to die. They both are similar in the sense that they make a new frontward circle when acquired, and they go top left and top right, then you alternate between the 2. Difference is XL1, the unit on that circle gets plus 10 during your turn, and XL2, when the circle is made, you draw a card, and the unit on that circle gets plus 5 during your turn. This one gives us power, but in all fairness, when you got a restander, someone who literally just gives a free front to your board, and someone who can just pump himself up of power, followed by nuke like 6 cards in a turn, or more than 6 cards actually, yeah, you want the Excel too, because while your opponent's constantly trying to play keep up, or nope, yeah, they're constantly trying to stay at the same time as you, and then eventually they're going to start playing keep up, you're going to want the XL2, but if you really think that they're going to kill you quickly and you want that XL1, go over the XL1, but XL2 is probably better just for the slight consistency. And then our 1 quick shows, which is when one of you attacks up as a 5k for the battle. Yeah, you discard it for Maelstrom, you discard it for, where is the other discarder? You discard it for Analyze Shooter, and that's pretty much it. Otherwise, you actually get to use the quick shield for once. So yeah, cool 5k shield. And that was it for the deck, so I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, this deck is very fun. It might be slightly less consistent than the previous just Glory and regular Maelstrom deck, but oh god, the numbers, the hand cards that you have to drop. Genuinely, with this deck, if you are on Glory, not Glory, if you are on Karma, and you have a Maelstrom and Soul, and the opponent is either at 4 or 5 damage, they will actively have to actually think out their plays, because depending on how they guard, they will lose a lot of hand cards. Like, I remember in the recording, I had to think it through a lot to defend that, because if I did it a different way, the way I was thinking of doing it originally, I would lose my entire hand hand and most of my board doing that, and I had to do it smart and somewhat take a risk, which was worth taking, thankfully. So I don't really remember it exactly because I haven't seen the game in a while, but I do remember that I did have to do something I didn't want to do. So all around, this deck is very scary, has a lot of good skills, has a very interesting art and karma, and all around is very powerful. And if they ever make a version of Holographic Vanguard, I'm going to call 6 Maelstroms to the board immediately, and I'm going to scare the shit out of my opponent. So hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon, join Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you on next one. Don't forget to stand up your Vanguards.